It is the magical time of year where sales are everywhere because of the holidays. And you know what that means. The legendary Steam Winter Sale. Whenever any Steam sale happens, I and many others get this itch to buy lots of games. But especially the Winter Sale, because this is when the games are usually at their lowest prices ever. So this year, I found myself wondering why, whenever I see a sale, I and many others immediately want to buy stuff. So without further ado, let's find out why. Sales of any kind, not just video game sales, use many different tactics to trick your brain into spending money. One of the things that makes sales appealing and leads to impulse purchases is the time limit on sales. When something is only on sale for a very short amount of time, we sometimes purchase it without a second thought because we are experiencing FOMO. We are worried that if we don't purchase it right now on this sale, it may not go on sale again for quite a while, and if it does go on sale, it might not be as good of a sale, so we better just buy it now instead of regretting not buying it later. The biggest reason that sales are so effective at getting people to purchase things that they don't necessarily need is the fact that we love that it gives us the feeling of saving and not spending. People tend to focus on the amount of money that they saved and not the cost that something still is. This is what leads to you looking back at some purchases and thinking, what was going through my mind when I decided to purchase this? In the moment, it feels like you are saving money, but in reality, you are still spending money. Real saving would be not purchasing something that you don't want. I feel that it is hard to compare sales on general items to sales on video games. Video games are just different. But what makes me feel this way? The value that you get for spending a relatively small amount of money is miles above what you would get with most regular items. Let me explain. When I see a game on sale, the perceived value of the game skyrockets. This is because you are still getting the game you would be getting if purchased at full price, which will provide you with an awesome experience and many hours of entertainment. But buying a game on sale makes your money feel like it goes farther. Think of it this way. You could spend, let's say, $50 to watch one movie that you really, really want to see. Or you could see 10 movies with that same $50 because of some crazy sale, one of which is the one you are extremely excited for, and the other 9 you are still very interested in, but originally you were on the fence about seeing. Which offer sounds more appealing to you? This is how I imagine my game purchases, and then amplify the entertainment value because the majority of games are much longer than a movie and you are an active participant in them. Now, this is still an example of buying something that I wouldn't normally buy, but in my mind it is very different from a physical item impulse purchase. Because for me, and I would say most people, my impulse game purchases aren't actually impulsive. I've always been interested in getting them, just not at full price, but seeing a massive sale on them really fans the flames of my interest in them, which actually makes the purchase more worth it, because it went from something that I've always been somewhat interested in to something that I am excitedly awaiting playing. There are many tactics you could use to avoid actual impulse purchases. One of the best methods I use to avoid making hasty decisions is to sit and wait on the game. Now, of course this works better for games that are on sale for longer, and you can't implement this tactic for flash sales. All you have to do is simply pick a game that you are interested in, and wait. Walk away, do something else, give it a day or two. Then, when the sale is almost over, you can look back and think if the game was constantly on your mind. And were you excited to get playing it, or did it just float off and leave your mind completely? If it's the latter, don't make the purchase. If you forget about wanting something, you probably didn't even really want it in the first place. Another tool I use to help me make decisions, and if it is an impulse buy, I will at least lower the cost of it, is a price tracker, specifically SteamDB. On this website, it shows the game's current price, lowest price, 2-year low, and when it was on sale last and for how much. Looking at these prices helps in 2 ways. For a purchase that I've had in mind for a while, it lets me know that I am getting the best deal I can for it. And if I'm not, I can wait longer because I've gone this long without it, so what's a little longer? And as previously mentioned, if by the time it is on a better sale I've forgotten about it, clearly I didn't want it that much. This also helps because if and when I make an impulse purchase, at least I know that I'm getting the best deal I can on it. So technically, it is saving me money. And if it's not on its lowest price, it makes me stop and think about if I truly want the game that badly. Both these things combined mean that I either avoid the impulse buy altogether, or I at least feel better about my impulse purchase. With all of this said, it is still important to remember. That's right, it is okay to treat yourself to an impulse buy occasionally, because you may enjoy it and get more than your money's worth out of the game, and if you don't, as long as it's not a regular behavior, it won't hurt you too much in the long run. Where impulse buys become a problem is when they become a habit. If every time there's a Steam sale you're picking up 10 or more games, most not even at their lowest price, then all of a sudden you look back and realize you have 100 or more unplayed or barely played games that you felt excited about for 5 minutes, and guilty about forever. What I'm trying to say is, the occasional true impulse buy is fine, but you have to exercise self-control. Do you know how many games there are that I want on every single time there is a Steam sale? So would I. It seems like there is always something I could buy. But that is why it's important to implement tactics to limit spending and only have the odd impulse buy. These sales are structured in a way to get your money. Even the things that you wouldn't usually be interested in become appealing when you see that green sale icon of 50% or higher. What was the most recent game you bought on sale? And was it an impulse buy or something that you had been looking forward to buying for a while? Let me know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please consider leaving a like and subscribing as it helps the channel out a ton. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and good gaming to you all.